Peace, peace, family. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start this collective understanding 6/23/2020 vibes, tapping into the energy of our comedic guides that we know dwell inside of us, and that we are emanations of vice versa. Okay, so starting off today's vibe, I feel a vast amount of love. I feel a vast amount of passion. And I feel like that translates to the world and everything that's going on right now as people who actually see what matters in life. Who matters in life, the things, the concepts, the idea, the mentality that actually matters in life. If you're trying to crystallize a certain reality, if you're trying to call forth this world where it is free of racism, certain prejudiceness, whatever it is that you're trying to bring about in this reality, as we all collectively raise the consciousness of this whole world, whatever it is that you're speaking towards, that you're calling in, a lot of people, including myself, we found more passion when it comes to our crafts, when it comes to the things that we do and why we do it. It's what it feels like. Triumph comes out first. Triumph of Isis, spirit of Isis. Isis is our divine feminine energy. Isis is creative energy in all. So this is triumph when it comes to our creative endeavors. And that's always the case, right? Once you're on the vibe, it's like whatever you put your mind and your mentality into, it will prevail, and you will reap what you sow. The energy and the time that you put into your creations, you will get the currency that you deserve for it. And that's everyone right now. We getting our reparations. Period. We getting our reparations. If you've been putting in the work, and what is the work that I'm speaking of, right? If you've been taking the time to go within, I feel like if anything, everything that's going on in the world taught us how to better go within ourselves and see how we as individuals first are part of the collective. What is our unique part that we play? What is the specific role that we're supposed to live and exemplify for the collective? And I feel like the passion is coming from more people that ask themselves that question and they get the answers like that. This energy that's happening right now, it's like lightning. It's swift and it's quick, and it's like when you speak it, when you see it, I feel like a lot of us that do work in the dream world and the astral realms, I feel like we're starting to see that finally pay off. Because how it works is there usually is a vision, right? It's kind of like holding the vision. I feel like this also manifests in the practical sense when we meditate with crystals, seeing into the crystal globe. Okay, the crystal globe, that realm is the astral realm, and that's the dream world. And for all of the dream workers out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When it comes to crystallizing something that we want, our magic, we'll see it first in the dream world. It's all about, it's like a projector, right? You're putting together the movie, you're putting together the scene, and then when you fall asleep, you're conscious and you're subconscious, and you're walking in the dream, you're living the dream. It's like live your dreams. It's literally about living the dream that you constructed, because we are all architects. We have this, we have the key. Yes, key of life, spinning the ankh, the key of life. Got my key on today. We all have the keys to our own destiny. We all have the keys to unlock and live in the dream that we want to create. And I'm not making dreams synonymous with an illusion or a fairy tale or something like you can't actually walk into in this reality. This is where perspective comes in, because you hear it a lot, and I even say it a lot. Your words create your reality. Your thoughts create your reality. What you consume create your reality. That's because the dreams, a lot of people will say that they don't have dreams or they have trouble recalling them. But that doesn't mean that the dream is not happening. The dream that is actually your true reality. You see, when we pay more attention to our dreams, we'll notice how our dreams are kind of there to give us like a heads up. It's like, yo, pay attention to that. When you notice that white and silver emblem with the pearl, that means something, and that might transpire as somebody wearing pearls, that might somebody might gift you a pearl. But the thing is, all those sacred symbols mean something, and our dreams kind of are like us pre-remembering. Sorry, it says that in terms of like we're remembering, but it's like you're pre-remembering before it even happens. And that's what it is, constructing your dream to shape it how you want, and then living in that. This is how we manifest. This is what magic is. Now, I know that's super esoteric, but what I want everyone to realize is that esoteric energy is also this practical energy. We can bring things down from there, the esoteric realm, and then live it in our everyday life. So when it comes to like the world is the world. When we really wake up and see the dimension that we're in right now, and who's really running things and their intent, we can easily go on a spinning and spiraling web of what they're doing. But then I always, which I'm very interested in, you know, a lot of the masters will say, leave no book unturned. I've read and I know about the adrenochrome and Pizzagate and all of that. But it's like, when it comes to my path, when it comes to the energy that I know I'm supposed to be holding a space to, like imagine like a great-great-grandmother or a great-great-granddad spirit energy that's been around here as long as this tree has been here, right? The spirit or the energy that lives in this tree, the essence that lives in this tree, longevity. That's the energy that's returning back to this planet. When people are like, yeah, we're going through a shift, it's a new time, it's a new era, that's because we're elevating. Collectively, we are elevating, and there's a group of us who are here holding the space for everybody. We're holding open the doors, like, come on, our siblings, bring our siblings in, whoever, like, grab the hands, bring our people in, but there has to be, like, that foundation energy. So, I said that to say, if we focus too much on these worldly things, aka Pizzagate, adrenochrome, everything down that aisle, and if you've been there, you know what I'm saying. To focus on that is to create that dream. Now, I'm not saying don't do your research, because if you don't know what those terms are, you need to do your research. However, what I'm saying is just by calling it and then attaching an emotion to it, we're calling forth that dream. We're crystallizing that dream. If we don't want to do that, then we have to be mindful to ask ourselves, what is the dream? What is I? What is the I dream? What is my part that I play in the whole? A lot of people say, ego deaths, diminish your ego, let go of your ego. Your ego is the self. It's the identity. If we have ones and zeros, zero is more like the spirit, the womb. The one is us. It's that masculine energy that makes things happen. If we say diminish that, then we're like just lollygagging through this dimension, and we don't want to be here our whole life, look back in 60 years and be like, what did I do? What part did I play? We want to realize that once we tap into universal energy and universal law and understand what is really going on in this dimension, get into genetics, get into numerology, get into astrology, get into studying indigenous cultures, get into studying math, chemistry, and all the sciences, electrons, neutrons, and it sounds like, oh, nerd, like that's just nerd stuff, but it's like, this is how we really understand where we are and what we need to do here, and how urgent it is that we snap out of this matrix of the world. We need to snap out of that like 400, 500, 600 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But right now is the time, and it's like the collective is being forced to do it. But in it, remember that you have the key. During this transition time, while everything is transpiring and everybody's pulling for your attention and everybody's wants to be seen, wants to be heard for what they're doing, ask yourself, who's holding the key to your destiny? Who has the key? Do you have the key? We're going to get into some tarot. This is my favorite deck, and When you see the cards, you'll know why. And like I feel like everybody who's woke ever, like one of the main things that pulled us out of it, it's like we realized what God really was, what the God essence, the God energy, the God consciousness really was. Like that's what pulled us out of it. So we want to, acknowledge that there is something higher than us, and we are not the only, like, our own self-identity isn't the end-all be-all. Like, this is a collective ecosystem. But at the same time, realize that we have the keys. This physical body that a lot of people like to say, I'm not human, or I'm not connected to the physical. This is the key. We got one that flipped over. Oh, there we go. Okay. We got the Two of Swords, right? Being that we're talking about the ego and we're talking about these different bodies, right? We're shedding the self, the I, to realize we're all connected, right? But then we're looking at the concept we are all connected, but at the same time, we have a self-identity. It's about knowing that we have a decision to make. When it comes to making a decision, who makes the decisions for you in your life? It's you. It's us. And rather that be coming from an egotistical standpoint or a collective standpoint, the fact of the matter is, if we have the key. We're the one that actually has to walk in this life. We're the ones who have to we have to create the art to call forth the dream. We have to actually put the intention, put in the breath work. The point about the key is not letting it, making sure, like, oh my God, every time I have to talk about like Christianity, because a lot of my family are still Christian, and I know that it works for a lot of people, but it's like at the same time, sometimes the Bible will say, do this or else you'll be condemned to this. Think like this and be like this, or else you're going to be cast away in this. The Two of Swords is more about being calm, about being making decisions, looking around, seeing both sides, seeing the inside, the outside, being calm about making decisions, and not having the pressure on you. Well, if you don't, you're going to be condemned to this. But at the same time, realize karma is very real. But it works in a way with this triumph. I feel like that's why it came out in the beginning. If you put in the intention and the work, and you're focused on the breath, you ride the breath, you pay attention to the winds, you're intentionally communing with the waters, with the elements, tapping into the earth, the inexhaustible source that is nature. Aligning with nature is aligning with all that is. Aligning with the other side, the conspiracies. That is what you're aligning your reality to. It's based off of your perception and what you give most of your time to, what you're feeding the most. So this message, I feel like, is very similar to my before one, my previous one, when I'm saying take back your energy. Know that you have the key to your destiny. You turn the wheel. You are the one actually walking through it. Give thanks for God and a higher power, great spirit. Know that it is always there. Know that it is you in its exhausted form. Commune with it, not in a way where it's like, please give me this, please make this happen, please this, please this. Once we come from a begging mentality, we're perpetuating separation from us in the all. When we commune with nature, higher power, great spirit, as looking in the mirror at ourselves, knowing that we're talking to an exalted version of ourselves, but it's still us. It exists because we exist. So be it. But still know that you have the keys to your destiny. We still have to put in the work. We still have to put forth that necessary action. We can't just read articles. We can't just repost memes. We can't only sign petitions, although all of that stuff is important. We have to actually put in the actions. Put in the actions. Pay the currency with the reality that we want to live in. And I know it sounds super like far out there, but I want you guys to remember that it's in here. It's not far out there, although far out there is in here. Who has the keys? I'm gonna let that breathe for a second, because we already almost 16 minutes in. We got two. Okay, I see. Five of Pentacles. We have a lot of people, a lot of our people, aka that version of us that's like, but how am I going to pay my bills? But what if they implement martial law? But what if this happens? What if I catch something? There's this sadness, or like this poverty mindset. How am I going to get another job? A lot of people are in that what if, what if, what if. What if you had the keys inside to transform your whole reality? What if there's a version of living on this earth plane where all of those people got their just due, their karma that's been coming to them and building up? What if we created a more sustainable ecosystem for the collective? What if we had more of a universal-based awareness and love and compassion for each other? What if we can create and crystallize that reality by just believing right now that we are living in it? What if we had the courage to release sadness, release the poverty mindset, release the lack mentality, and realize that we are infinite? That this shell, this body is temporary, but we are infinite. These people in power are temporary. We have the power to tap into the energy, to tap into the scene, to refocus our lens to the reality that we want to experience and live in. And if you know, you know. But if you don't have a dream journal by now, or calculating your dreams or recalling your dreams by now, I highly recommend getting a dream journal, because everything is so vivid right now. It's like whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever you're doing artistically, right now is the perfect time to do it. And it may seem like, what? There's so much crazy stuff going on in the world. We're supposed to be focused on Black Lives Matter. Focus on your dream. Your dream matters. Your unique individual part that you play in this grand ecosystem matters. I know that my lives matter. I know my brother's lives matter. I know my mom and my sisters and my man and everybody. I know their life matters. They know their life matters. Worry about what you're creating, what you are envisioning, and what you are crystallizing. And I know for a lot of people, that's equality. That's equality, and that's important. Moving on, we got the Six of Swords. We're down to go on this journey. So that's beautiful that these came out together, right? So we got this split decision that needs to be made, right? And on one side, we have sadness and fear, this poverty mind state with the Five of Pentacles. And then we got the Six of Swords, which is like this new adventure, this travel, this going into the unknown, kind of being a neophyte to begin with, like in the sense where I don't know exactly where it's going to take me. I don't know where it's going to lead me, but I know that I'm going. It's only up from here. It's only progressing from here. If this world is really this bad and all of these things are really happening, then by focusing my energy on nature and being more in tune with my breath and studying more, like it could only go up for here. I'm up for this Six of Swords energy. I'm up for the travel, the adventure. I'm open to that. This is the decision that we we need to make? Are we going to be consumed in the fear and the lack mentality of, oh, these people don't have these rights, these people can't do this? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can breathe. Yes, we can. Our breath is infinite. Yes, we can. What decision are you going to make? You're going to go on this adventure. You're going to go on this journey. You're going to experience this new life. You're going to experience these new energies, these new people. Or are you going to be contained within your own self-doubt? That's the ultimatum here that I feel like Spirit is saying. Like, there's a lot going on. Yes, but it's like, what decision are you going to make? Are you going to trust that you can find your way and you will find your way? We're going to tap into some Ganesh energy. Clearing out the way. Again, that innocence popping up. The innocence and the freedom to go on this journey. When's the last time you did something for the first time? For yourself. For the betterment of yourself. When we think about the innocence of a child and the journey, this is just saying lack of fear. Lack of this Five of Pentacles energy where it's like, what am I going to do? I'm hungry. I can't eat. Okay, I can feast on the breath. And that seems so far-fetched. People are like, how can you go without eating? How can you fast? Like, what's the point? What about your nutrition? It's about realizing that over time, we've built up so much energy inside, and a lot of it is just being stored there and being spat out at things that don't serve us when we're mindlessly manifesting and doing sorcery and magic. Everybody does magic, by the way. The thing is whether you're conscious of it or not. The innocence aspect, I feel like Ganesh is like, be still with it. Be at peace and know that, trust in your ability to find your way. But at the same time, don't be naive. Don't be gullible to the path. Okay, so it's coming out both sides. Like, know that we need to go on this path, this journey, but don't go to the extreme where you cannot sustain yourself. Whether that be with physical food, rather it be like not being firm on a foundation. Like, I feel like the energy of the tree is popping up where it's like, what are you connected to? Oh yes, I said this in like 2 MerKaBa messages ago, where it's like, what are you connected to? Because when we think about innocence, a child is innocent and free, and we can see children freely being them. But it's like, if we let a child be them and they didn't have an adult that was like, don't touch that, that's hot, be respectful, discipline. The disciplinary aspect is like a tree. It had the discipline to be a tree, to be still, to be there, to breathe. The breath is the innocence of being still, being focused, being patient, but not being too patient to where it comes to a spot. It's like, oh, I'm just going to be patient and wait for God to bring me some food. Now you're in the Five of Pentacles energy and you're hungry. Okay, so it's fine a balance in between going too extreme left or too extreme right. Being in the center of that sphere is where we are to be. Let me see. Where are we at? 24 minutes? Okay. A couple more. got? Alright, so we got the Four of Swords, which is relevant because I was just talking about the tree, right? The Four of Swords is like mental clarity, stillness, patience, innocence. Where's that Ganesh with the innocence? For me, these energies link up, right? The Four of Swords, that patience, that stillness with this innocence. You see how he's on the mountain, he's patiently waiting, being analytical about knowing where to move, and not just frivolously like lollygagging. And that's how it is for like if you start doing this work, right, but you don't have something to grab onto, a foundation, you can easily get carried too far out into the current and not be able to come back, or make it hard for yourself to come back. That's why it's like, what are you connected to? When you're connected to nature and your spiritual umbilical cord is connected to nature, you can tap into the spirit of the tree and be rooted in the ground while still stretching out your branches and your leaf blowing in the wind, tapping into the energy of the wind, of Oya. And then at the same time, your roots be connected to deep within the earth and start touching the water, connected to Gaia. And at the same time, be connected to the sun, the fire energy. When you're connected to nature, it's like a 4-in-1. That's why it's like, what are you connected to? The more firm and connected you are to your foundation, when you know that your mom or your dad has got you, you don't have to worry about getting hurt. When we're thinking of a child and innocence, they're not worried about getting hurt. They know that if something happens, that their mom's gonna come and help them, and they're gonna, hook them up and make sure they're straight. Let's see this last energy that we got. Perfect card to end off with, Two of Pentacles. You're balancing our responsibilities, right? And you can see that he's surfing on this board, and it's like the infinity sign, right? We focus on our responsibility. A lot of us, this will be kind of redundant once you know already, and it's just affirmations, but it's like a lot of us, we know what we got to do. We know the vision, we see the vision, we're holding the vision, we're crystallizing the vision, we can already see it coming forth. For those of us who've been on the path, you see the synchronicities, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to harnessing this nature energy, harnessing your energy, because it is yours. You have the keys. We have the keys. Some dude in the sky, some external energy is not going to come here and save you. I keep saying that. Stop looking for a savior, somebody to save you, because we can only save us. Once we save ourselves and we're stable within the self, then we can more freely connect to the infinite. Once we can balance like this, once we know, like we know we got the energy, okay? So I want to leave off on this. You have the keys. Make sure you're not distracted. We have the keys to crystallize and live in the dream that we want to create. The vision that we've been holding, the loop that we've been playing in our head, that reoccurring dream where we know something is greater, something way greater is happening. This is our dream. This is everything being set in motion. All of these events that's been happening, it's been a setting in motion of what we know is just, what we know is righteous, what we know is divinely aligned with the vision. Okay? So there's nothing to fear when you realize that you are the all. There's nothing to fear when you realize that death is just another level up. There's nothing to fear when you know that you are connected to the inexhaustible source. You are everything.